Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. For those of you who've been following me with my different series on Julie Nutting, using Julie Nutting stamps by Prima, this is kind of a fun video. There's been a lot of debate from people who use these stamps. They come without faces, so the question is, add faces or use them faceless with no faces as they were created. Now this is what it looks like with faces, and so I pretty much prefer faces, but that's because I like to draw faces. So here's one with closed eyes and another one with closed eyes. So if you're intimidated by creating faces, I thought I would do this video on how to draw a face on your Julie Nutting stamped girl and have it come out in the right place. So let's get started and have some fun. This is a free class for anyone who's been following me, and if you're new to this channel, please like, subscribe, share, help me out. And if you enjoy this video and feel guided to make a small donation, please do so, because I do appreciate that very much as I'm working hard to try to pay off some debts. So you're not obligated, but certainly if you feel guided to, thank you in advance. So let's get started and I'll show you how to do faces on your Julie Nutting stamped dolls. The Julie Nutting stamps were created with blank faces, and they look darling just as they are, adding some cute little pink cheeks. So if you haven't added faces to yours and you just leave them blank, they're still wonderful just as they are. But if you want to take them to the next level, adding faces can really add personality to your girls. I think having character and personality and drawing in a cute face just makes them come to life, and you can change it each time, do a different face each time, and so you come up with different girls, different characters, different expressions. There are some rubber stamp sets where you can stamp on faces, but in my personal opinion, I think it makes them look odd, off, creepy. It's just ink, so it doesn't have any dimension to it. They're very flat looking, and if you get them in the wrong place, it makes your doll look really weird. So I think that hand drawing them yourself is the best way to go. So let me show you the easy steps for how to create beautiful faces on your Julie Nutting dolls. I used to do all my dolls blank faced, and I started adding faces to them, and I just loved how it brought them to life. Sometimes a simple whimsical face with shut eyes, and a lot of times a full face to give it character. Now the first thing I've noticed that most people have trouble with is placement. So they look at their doll and they think that they need to place the face right here in the middle of this. That's what makes the faces and the dolls that you've added faces to turn out a little odd and off and look weird. So right here is not where the face would go. The whole face is the whole section of the head. So let me show you what I mean and how to lay them out. So I'm getting started with Abby. So this is Abby's face, and I stamped her twice so I can show you the right and the wrong ways of figuring this out. So if I were to draw her face, even right below this headband, most people think that's the face right there, and so they draw it right in here. So if I were to do that, I'm just penciling in a really simplistic face. It's okay, but it's really not correct. So this area, this circle, is not how the face should be. So let's break this down easily. This is the head of the girl, and the hairline, the face is above that headband. The hairline goes up to the top of the head. The hair comes out of the head, so you have to include all of this. So when you make that circle, that's the head shape right there, not that. Okay, so that makes it easier for your dolls to come out looking right. Now the basic face, the basic way to draw a face, whether it's oval or round, doesn't really matter, but here's the face. And the basic way to draw the face is to draw those lines, which you've probably seen, one straight down the middle, one exactly across the middle. Then this you break into a half, and then this you break into a half. So you end up with these marks like this. That's a correct way to break up a face. So if you did that here, you're going to have a really scrunched up little face that's not correct, and it won't look right. That's why if you take from the top of the head and you make your oval just in your mind, or even with a pencil, you can always erase it, and then start to draw your lines. So here's the first line, and her head is tipped. If her head is tipped like this, or some of them where they're looking a little bit sideways, you want to follow it tipped. She's not straight, she's tipped a little bit. So I'm making my lines based on how her head is. So right there, top to bottom, let's do it in the red because it shows up really good on camera. So here's the oval, or the shape of the head. Here's how it's tipped, and I'm drawing my first line down. Here's the second line, which goes right across it. Then I'm breaking this section into a half, and this section into a half. Now I know that those red lines in there I can't erase, so that's why you always do it in pencil. I'm just showing you for the camera wise. So when you do that, the eyes are going to be way up here. The eyes are in the hair underneath her bangs. She's got kind of long bangs, and her eyes are inner bangs. So you would draw a little almond shaped here and here for eyes. Nothing too hard. It's really easy. You can draw a little circle right here for a nose. You can draw an underlined lip like this. You can use that line to create that Cupid's bow, like that. So see how her shape of her face is coming together. Now when the hairline is in the way, it's not a problem. What I like to do with my Julie Nutting stamps is I stamp it the first time, and I stamp them onto file folder. You can stamp it onto whatever you want to put your girl on, what you want her face to be. Stamp it the first time, and then I draw on the faces, and I stamp it a second time on a colored cardstock for her hair, and I cut that hair piece out, like I'd cut these bangs out separately, and glue them on top over the face. That's how you get the eyes that are in behind. See how her hair is covering one of her eyes? Her eyes are in the right position on her head, and the hair is covering up her eyes. But look at how realistic that makes that look. So don't worry about the hair for right now, and just go ahead and draw in your shapes. Now, I like to make a simple eye like this. And let me show you really easily. I'll show you over here how to make a simple eye. So I like to draw the top part, and then I like to draw the little iris like that, and then not up above it, not below it, right in the center of that circle is where the pupil is. The pupil is always dead center. And then I just come back in, and I can create this bottom area like this. Super easy. You can even draw that cute little tear duct if you want to, but you always need to draw in an upper lid like this. But look at how easy that is. So you thought drawing an eye was hard. That's not hard. And then I come back, and I always make that a little bit heavier, and then add in some light eyelashes. Doesn't need tons. And then you can color this in. So obviously the pupil of the eye is colored in black. And then you color the iris in a color, and you color this part in a white. And it can be tiny. I'll show you how. That's coming up. But that's how you draw a simple eye for your girl, like that. And be sure that you draw those little upper eyelids, otherwise your eyes are going to look weird. And I'll show you how to do eyebrows, not on this one because it's going to be hard to see. Let's use a different doll example for eyebrows. So now for the nose, you've got this little circle. You can draw 2 little nostrils like this and some little curves to make that. A lot of times I like to erase the top part of the circle, but it's even cute sometimes to leave it. And then I showed you the lips, so it's really easy to draw that in that simplistic little face. Now the next step would be to ink that. Let's do that over here on this one that doesn't have red lines. So I'm going to draw in the cute little eyes. And trust me, they don't even have to be perfect. It's just adding in a cute little simple face on a doll. Sometimes I don't even add that Cupid's bow. I just add a little bit more of a lip like that. Okay, and then let me show you what it looks like when it's inked. So I do a line across the top of the eyes, like that. Super fun, super sketchy, and not complicated. Don't overthink it. If you overthink it, you won't like it. So look at that cute face that just emerged. And each time, to me, they come out looking a little bit different. So now let me show you about eyebrows. So you want to add eyebrows if there's room. Get the eyebrows in there because a face looks weird without eyebrows. So eyebrows, the rule of thumb is right from that corner of the eye, go straight up. And that's where your eyebrow is going to start. So straight up from the corner, and there's your place where your little eyebrows are going to start. And you can make straight ones. I mean, the eyebrows are what's going to give her different character looks. So you can go kind of straight. You can go really arched. But look at how that brought it together, and look at that simple, cute little face that I've created. Now let me draw this circle around, oval around, and erase those pencil lines and show you how adding color really changes it. Whatever color you decide to color it depends on the skin tone of the character that you're creating. So it could be any ethnicity. I'm just using a light colored marker, and this is just for demonstration purposes. So what I like to do is to come in with a light color and just color in a basic light shade. Now, if you've used a file folder to create your paper doll, you've already got the benefit of having a cream colored background for your skin tone. If you don't, you use white, like this is white cardstock, then you can just come in here and color it. And I like to just put down a base layer of color first, like that. Nothing too hard, nothing too complicated. Now you can use the same color again to create depth and shadow. So you can come back in here with your same color and you can add another layer of color and see how just that little bit of shadow is already starting to make that face not look flat. So you can add just a little bit where the eyes kind of recess. So just above that little eyelid, you want to make that a little bit darker. You want to make right under here a line connecting the nose and the lips. I always put a little shadow under the nose, a little shadow under the lips. And look at how that's taking shape really simply. Now, the reason I did dark on one side and not the other is light source. So if the light is shining this way, this side of the face is going to be in the light and this side is going to be in shadow. If that's confusing to you or it's too complicated versus simple, grab out some magazines and look at people's faces. One side of the face is almost always in shadow and one side is almost always in the light. So I like to do that on my characters. It just really makes them come to life and look better to have one side a little bit darker and the other side lighter. So you can come back in again with an alcohol marker and go even darker to add some depth. Like that. So see how that face is really starting to come to life. You can come back in with a light pink and start to add some cheek color. A little bit of cheek color in here. This is with alcohol markers. If you don't have that and all you have are crayons or colored pencils or Neocolors, use what you have. I'm just showing you the technique of shading. So I just added some pink to it. I like to come back in with a pencil that's pink and add some more color to it. And I just go a little bit darker on the outside and then under where the little cheekbones would be. Add a little bit more. So look at how she's really starting to take shape. Add some color to the lips. I mean, a nice little set of colored pencils like Prismacolors would be perfect for this and not too big of a financial investment. Now for eye color, I love to use a fine tip Posca pen. Now this is blue and it's fine tipped. So if I wanted to make these eyes blue, I'd come in here and just do a line of blue around this eye like that. And bam, she's got blue eyes. So that looks really cute. So it's just, I could leave it alone right now as it is. And that's a cute face that really would bump up my Julie Nutting character. I also like to come in and even with my pink, just on the bottom of the nose, just do a little shadow like that. Everything you do just adds a little bit of depth. Even a white pencil and do a little circle on the end of the nose to add some white to it, makes the nose stand out. Or a Posca pen in white. You can come in, or a gel pen, and you can come in and add a little pop of white on the end of the nose and blend it, and it just makes it look more dimensional. So look how fast and how easy it was to create this cute face that could easily be on a Julie Nutting stamp. And her forehead looks really big because that's where her hair would be and where her bangs would be. So since I drew this one, let's use a Julie Nutting stamp and create a face. So I'm going to use this one. This is Amberly. This is the Amberly stamp. That's got a nice big space that allows me a lot of room to draw a face. So I've gone ahead and stamped Amberly. Now let's do our lines. So the top of her head would be at the top of this headband up here. So this whole section would be the circle. So I'm going to draw my line straight down. I'm going to draw my line across, breaking that circle in half. I'm going to do half of this section and then half of this section to create my lines. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw in the characters of the face, and I'm going to ignore those bangs. So I'm going to draw it right on top of those bangs. It doesn't matter. Her hair would be covering her eye. Now I'm going to use ink, and I'm going to ink that in, and I'm not going to draw the part that's under her hair because you don't really need to. You're not going to see it. You could, if you're going to cover it with hair that you do separately. And I'm going to draw the little part over here that would be her eyebrow. Now I'm going to erase my lines and look at the position of that. So her hair is covering her eyes, but look how cute. I mean, the face is in the right position on the doll and just looks so cute. So now I'm going to just throw some color on there and color it real quick so that you can see coloring it. So you could color her hair, or you could cut it out of cardstock and pop it up and make it dimensional, which I love to do. Throwing on a little bit of a pink lip. Gonna make the top of the lip a little darker. Let's make some cheeks. I'm just using colored pencil for that. They look so cute with rosy cheeks. I'm going to give this one green eyes. I'm using a green Posca pen. Making that eye green. And I'm going to do some shading. I'm shading underneath her chin on her neck. I'm taking a colored pencil. This is kind of a skin tone colored pencil. I'm going to add some shape to her nose. The shadow under her hair, so there's going to be a shadow on her face from her hair hanging over her face. You could use a gel pen to add a little bit of white on the end of her nose. I love that look with the white. I think it makes the nose pop. I like to make the pupil of the eye darker. Add some eyelashes. And don't go crazy with the eyelashes and do tons. Doesn't need much. Just a little hint. But look at that cute face. It's darling. I love the hair covering it. And now let me show you what it's going to look like to stamp that on cardstock and pop up the hair and the bow over this face. I had this brown paper and I stamped that stamp twice to do her hair. I'm not going to do this part down here. You could cut out those little pieces that's by her neck. I'm going to just color those. I'm just going to make this part dimensional. And so now let me cut this out and show you what I mean. So for cutting out those bangs, I cut it round like that, and I just totally ignored where the bow is, because the bow is obviously going to be a color, like clothing color, and it's going to be on top. So I am choosing to make this a round full bang, and just for the first part of this, ignoring that little bow. And so here's my little piece for her hair, for her bangs. Now that's her bangs, not this part back here. And I stamped it again on a blue cardstock, a blue pattern paper, to make the bow and the headband. And to take this from flat to fabulous, I stamped the headband again and just cut out the bow. Now let's assemble it and I'll show you how this girl really is going to pop and come to life. So the first thing I'm going to do is to put the hair in the back that's behind the bow. So I'm going to just put some glue back there. I'm just using art glitter glue for this, and I'm going to pop that into place on my doll. And there's pieces are just going to get layered. So there's that. Next is going to be her bangs, and what I like to do with the bangs is to take a piece of pop dots. Now this is just pop-up tape. You can find it at your local craft store. If you don't have a craft store close by, you can find it online. If you're into card making, you probably already know about it. And you can also find it at the dollar store now. So get some pop tape, and right in the middle of the piece of bangs, right in the back, put a little pop-up like that. Put a little piece of pop-up. And you're going to put that in place where it would go. And the other thing I like to do is I like to color underneath there. Color those bangs. That's probably not the right color, but at least it's a color. I just grabbed a pen. You want to color it, and the reason is so that you don't see white underneath it. You see it from the edge. And then you line it up and put it into place, and it pops up like that. So she's starting to take shape. Now I like to put a little bit of glue underneath the edge and hold that down, and a little glue over here and hold that down. So now she has a nice rounded bang. It's so cute. And it looks realistic. And I'm going to take the full headband and bow, and I'm going to glue them into place next. This is just taking your simple paper doll and making her so dimensional and so fabulous. And I probably could have colored the blue underneath too. I just like to do that so you don't see any white underneath. And now I'm going to put a little bit of pop dot behind the bow. And just put it right in the center of it. And put that in place to get that dimensional bow. And let it pop up. Look how cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay. I'm going to take this for her hair down here. I'm just going to color that in. And hair next to the neck is going to be darker than the rest for shadows. You've always got to do your shadows. That's what makes it look nice. So go down here next to the neck and make it darker. Trust me. See how that just looks so realistic and dimensional. And then you can do the same thing. Up here you can add a little bit of darkness because where it comes out from the part, it's going to be a little darker. I'm just using colored pencils to just add in a little depth. A little shadow underneath that bow. Drawing some lines that would be pieces of hair. Look how cute that turned out. I love it. You can do a little shading on that bow. A little shading on her headband. So look how cute that face turned out. Not hard, Just a little bit of layering those bangs so that they stand out from the doll, layering that headband, and that eye that we drew over here is completely under the bang, but look at how it made the dimensions of her face correct. Her eye is in the right spot, her nose is in the right spot, and it makes the face look realistic. Now let's talk about a 3/4 to the side face. There are some of the dolls that have their face turned to the side. If you tried to draw this circle and draw her face straight on, it would not look right. So let me show you how to take care of a turned 3/4 face. It's not hard at all, and for this one I'm using the Mia stamp. So I stamped it a couple times so we can play around with it. Now with a 3/4 or turned face, you're again going to have the same oval shape. Now, the top of the headband wouldn't be the top of the head. The top of the head is going to be up here. So this is the full face right here. I'm showing you in red pen that can't be erased, but just so you know, and you could draw that in pencil, draw your face, and then erase it, but that would be the correct face. So to draw your next line, when it's a turned face like that, the face is angled. It's not straight up and down like this. It's angled like this. So see how that oval is tipped? You just follow that tipped oval. So you make your line just slightly curved like that. And then you make this, the head is round, so you make that, you break this in two in half, and you make this slightly curved, and this slightly curved, and this slightly curved, just like that. So there's your lines. I'm going to draw them in red so you can see what I'm talking about. So there's the curve, splitting that oval into 4 equal parts, splitting the bottom half in half, and splitting that bottom half in half. So there's where you get the face shape. So if we were to draw in our eyes, you'd have an eye here, an eye here, her nose, and her mouth here. I know it looks funny in red, but that just shows you the correct shape. So now let's do it over here in pencil where we can erase it. So again, here's my oval, comes all the way up to that top of her head where the hair starts coming out. Here's her face shape, like this. Her little chin is kind of behind her shoulder. And then I've got my line cutting it in half, and in half, and in half, and in half. Just like that. And now I can draw in her little facial features. Like that. Now when I come back in and I do them in pencil, do them in pen, I'm sorry. Do it in pen. I'm making her look off to the side. Draw that little upper eyelid, draw her eyebrows. She's got to have eyebrows. And then let's erase my pencil lines. And look at that cute face. So again, you would color it in, you would color in the bangs. If you don't want to stamp and cut out paper bangs, you could always even use paint pens. So let's give that a try. So here's a Posca pen with a fine point in a brown. you could come in here and you could color her bangs in paint. Or if you have another brand of acrylic paint markers, and you color right over the eyes, because that hair is covering the eyes. But look at how the eyes peep out from the hair. So cute, super cute. Now let's give her a little bit of skin tone. So I'm going to color it in. Around her skin tone. Like that. Come back in and do her shadows. Let's do the shadow on this side this time. So this side is more in shadow than the other side. And a little shadow on her neck. Let's give her a pink cheek. A little pink lip. And see how they just start to come to life. I love that. I'm going to use paint pen to color in the blue part of her eye. The iris. I'm giving her blue eyes. I'm going to let that dry and then I'll draw a pupil in. Need that little line under her nose. It certainly is not hard to make these. Look, and these are tiny little faces, but look at how easy it is. I mean, I hope I'm making this, showing you how easy this is to just create that cute little face. I like to come back in and give them freckles sometimes with a fine liner pen to just give them some little freckles on their nose. That gives them character. Every little one turns out different because you create it. Come in and brighten up the white spot with just a little dot. And look at how cute and sweet she looks. And we can add color to her headband. I'm going to come back with that same paint pen that I used on her bangs and go over that hair to add that color in. And then she's got light and dark. And there you go. So that's how you would draw a 3/4 face facing tipped instead of straight on. So when Julie Nutting created her stamps, she created them in all different sizes, all different angles. So the size face, like here is Dita and here is Audrey. Look at the difference in size and shape of their head. So it doesn't matter how big or how small the head is, or if it's tipped right or if it's tipped left. Now you know that you can come back in and draw a face in on any Julie Nutting stamp. So I hope this was informative and it gave you the tips for the wrong way and the right way of mapping out the face, creating an adorable, cute little face, adding dimension by doing bangs and popping things like the headbands and things up, doing a 3/4 face, using different art supplies to color them in, and just play around with it. Don't be afraid to play around with it. Get a piece of cardstock or a file folder and just stamp a whole bunch of Julie Nutting stamps and just practice the faces. Practice them in pencil and draw your lines, and then go over and ink the places that you've drawn for the eyes, nose, and mouth, and then erase your lines after you've inked it, and then you're ready to color and add the bangs and things over the eyes. Have fun. This is a blast. These Julie Nutting stamps are so much fun, and you can create so many beautiful characters with them. I hope this takes it to the next level for you, and this will open up a whole new world of playing around with your Julie Nutting stamps. So thanks for purchasing this class, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, art soothes the heart.